A few months ago, I was paired with a student at UVA with type 1 diabetes as part of a mentor program, and it has allowed me to see that I'm not the only one with this disease. And I want others to feel like they can do anything and not let diabetes stand in the way of accomplishing their dreams. Thank you.
Contestant number 2, Jasmine Arthur. CJ Trucking, Anna Johnson, Evan Templeton, RB, Vicky and Amanda Lawhorn, Scott and Margaret Templeton, Driver Side Rehab, Lynn Hall and family, Tracy Nichols and family, Tracy Johnson and family.
If I am selected as Miss Brookville, I will collect dog food and cat food to donate to the local animal shelter. Our animal shelters are very overpopulated, and I feel like this would be a good way to help with that problem. I recently adopted my cat from the animal shelter, and I feel like it's very heartbreaking to see how many animals are left without homes. I hope to one day change that. Thank you.
Escorted by Josh Haskins. Sponsored by NB Handy, Chris Stuckey State Farm Agent.
Service project, I want to collect gently used sports equipment to donate to the area sports organizations. Growing up, I spent a lot of my time at the Timberlake Dixie Youth Fields watching my brother play baseball and participating in softball. Through this, I saw that some kids don't always have the proper equipment to use. I want to help them by donating this equipment so they can focus on the social skills and the athletic aspect of the game. Thank you.
John Light, sponsored by Keith and Lisa Dunn.
If I am selected as Miss Brookville, I will collect new or lightly used toys or stuffed animals and deliver them to a children's hospital. It is awful how many children get diseases and go through traumatic experiences at such a young age. I want to add a little bit more happiness in their lives by providing toys and stuffed animals for them. Thank you.
Sponsored by Calvin and Mary Floyd.
Slay.
Hello again. If I am selected as Miss Brookville, I will be collecting feminine hygiene supplies such as pads and tampons for underprivileged and homeless women. Because this is such an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people, it tends to go overlooked. But the fact is, a woman's menstrual cycle doesn't stop if she doesn't have a home, if she doesn't have the means to adequately care for herself, if she doesn't have pads and tampons. I've experienced a period just as every other woman in this audience has, and we all know the stress of reaching into your purse and realizing you forgot to pack a tampon for the day and you're in desperate need of one, or when you look in your cabinet at home and realize you're out of pads. This is the worry that is constantly lingering over homeless and underprivileged women who don't have the necessities to get these items that they really need. Furthermore, pads and tampons are some of the least donated but most necessary items to homeless shelters, forcing women to take unsanitary and unhealthy means to care for themselves in a time that is completely natural for every woman. There are over 250,000 homeless women in the United States alone. They should not have to choose between a meal and a maxi pad. Period.
want to tell you a little bit about my service project and the reasons behind why I picked it. All throughout my life, I've been surrounded by law enforcement officers, whether current, past, or hopeful futures, from my dad, to my uncle, to my big brother. But unfortunately, these people are not given the love and support they need for putting their lives on the line every single day to keep us safe. In the year 2015 alone, 124 law enforcement officers lost their lives saving ours. So, for my 2016-2017 Miss Brookville Service Project, I would like to get together a group of students to bake cookies and make cards of appreciation to give to the Campbell County Sheriff's Department to serve as a thank you from the Brookville community. I also want to challenge every single one of you in here today to say thank you to a police officer in your life. Who knows, it can make your day. Thank you.
Escorted by Matt Hester, sponsored by Matt and Heather Hartsick.
Do you remember a time waiting for the school bus in the morning when it was cold and you didn't have a jacket? You may have left it at the school, or you may not have even purchased one yet, but I guarantee that you probably knew you were going to be getting one soon. A lot of kids are not so lucky. They don't know when they will get their next new clothing item, much less a new jacket. If I am selected as Miss Brookville, I will hold a clothing drive and let students donate gently used clothes for those who are in need in our community. There are approximately 1 in 5 students all over the U.S. who are living under the poverty line and cannot afford new clothing at any time of year. There are even more students with families with incomes over the poverty line who cannot afford new clothes either. We all know how extremely expensive warm clothes can be. We even struggle to purchase them sometimes. I believe that by donating these clothes, we will be helping the community one child at a time. It is detrimental that our students are able to carry out their days in comfort. That way that they can focus on their goals and their community and their school lives so that they can become successful adults and continue on with their lives in happiness. Thank you.
Contestant number 8, Alyssa Hallington, escorted by Mitchell Templeton. Sponsored by Jimmy and Debbie Johnson, Freddie, and Janet Binger.
If I have the honor of becoming Miss Brookville this year, I plan to collect donations to go to the local Lynchburg Humane Society. Many animals in the shelter have come from abusive home lives, so even collecting the smallest donations can help these animals go to better homes and live happier, healthier lives. Thank you.
Contestant number 9, Emily Johnson, escorted by Austin Miles, sponsored by Maddie Martin, Daniel Clarksdale, Cora Beth Porter, Mitchell and Mark, Michelle and Mark Falls, and Kaylee Johnson.
Hello again. If I am selected as Miss Brookville, I will host a service project in order for us to raise boots and winter coats. From working at a shoe store, I understand that some families are not able to afford boots for the winter time, and that's a pretty scary thing to think about, not being able to send your child off with a pair of boots for their first, real winter. So I want to host a boot drive. I would hope that the community could come together and we could give these to families in need. Thank you so much.
Contestant number 10, Kelsey Naylor, escorted by Elijah Ripkimo. Sponsored by Katsuko and Joe Robinson, Debbie, and Joe Naylor.
Good evening. If I'm selected as Miss Brookville, I plan to gather students from our school together to write letters to soldiers who are overseas. It's important to me to show our appreciation and thanks to them for leaving our country, their family and friends, in order to fight for freedoms that our founding fathers once fought for us. Many people in America take for granted the freedoms and liberties that we are born with. Many people in other countries don't get to know the privileges that Americans do, with the freedoms and privileges that we're naturally given. As John F. Kennedy once said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Thank you.
escorted by Connor Epperson, sponsored by Jimmy and Carol Gunter, Jack and Jerry Osborne, and Stephen Kirsty Osborne.
I consider myself a student who truly enjoys school and learning. I think this is largely due to the fact that my parents read to me and exposed me to books at a young age. That being said, here are some statistics for you. 1 in 4 American children will not be taught how to read. Students who don't proficiently read by the 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. And 2/3 of students who don't proficiently read by the 4th grade will end up in jail or on